I sent you something, had you seen it, sir? Yeah. Okay. I had sent something to you. I had been, about 3 years ago, I had just been, on behalf of the association, I had been to the traffic engineer and just laid out basically what I was giving here, and he just said, we have an obligation to see that people can park, and that's not even on their street.
Okay, I understand. So if you sent us something, we can get it, digest it, get it over to the manager and the traffic folks, and we'll revisit that.
Yes.
Thank you, sir, for your
Thank you.
Dr. Evans, did you have something for me?
Yes, sir. Mr. Now read that, and I was looking at what he was talking about. I understood it.
Okay.
And I was just going to suggest that city manager can look into that and come up with something to give Mr. Bass. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Evans. Mr. Rowe?
Yes, sir. In fact, Mr. James Wright, the city engineer, and Fred Brusso are going to meet with him now, so we can get this in train.
Mr. Ballard, so you're Mr. Ballard. We're doing pretty good, huh?
Oh, you're faster than
Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming.
Mr. Geduldig-Yatrofsky, I have one speaker just before you, if you don't mind.
Fine.
Mr. Tony Goodwin. And then Mr. Geduldig-Yatrofsky will be our final speaker.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Manager, and City Attorney. And I'd like to first off start by saying welcome to the new faces of this dais, Mr. Elizabeth Simmons and Mr. Danny. Congratulations to all that have run this past year's election and successfully became your seats. With a little jest in the house, I'm sure Elvis is not in the house, but happy birthday to Elvis Presley. But I'd like to go ahead and get into the meat of the conversation this evening, and that is with the dire concerns of our business community here throughout the city, as well as the focal point on what I try to represent very well, and that is the downtown corridor. You know, business retention is very key. Of course, business development is also very key. So we have some gains that are coming, that have come in the just recent past, but we also have some big losers that are leaving. And so with that being said, just as long as we maintain a balance, because you can't control, obviously, the decisions of business owners in their decision to stay or come to our city and provide us with jobs, tax revenue, and services available to all of our citizens and workers that visit our city every day. I'm solely concerned with every business. Obviously from the biggest employer and biggest business in the city, and that's the North Main Shipyard, all the way down to the lady in the hot dog cart in front of this courthouse. So, because they all generate income for the city, which all sets obviously the responsibility of what the real estate taxes are and our citizens provide to run the city. So let's look at the focal point of downtown and what we have lost just recently in the past year. And starting off with obviously Montgomery Grill, for whatever reason it obviously closed. Good standing restaurant that's been in a way, shape, or form a restaurant for at least 5 years. And then beyond that, we also, in the most recent past, lost another restaurant on 4th Street, Logan Ray's. Following that, the coffee kiosk. Then, of course, our Old Town Art, we just lost at the end of the year, and then and also Queen Bee's. These are shops that contributed to our city and our fabric of what we designed the downtown area to be, and that is a unique shopping destination and also a place to be and creating a sense of place. So I would encourage us all to be able to come together, work as a team, to be able to continue to bring in new business, retain the ones we have, help where help is needed, help us as the business community, help ourselves become stronger and more competitive in our region. That is key. I think there's a lot of folks that say back when certain restaurants and certain businesses in downtown, which were niche restaurants and destination driven, didn't have the Virginia Beach Town Center to compete with, didn't have the Greenbrier Town Center to compete with, nor the Peninsula Town Center, which draws right out of our backyard, from Churchland. So I would just like to say, as far as working with you as a team, to maintain some strength and some resolve to get this economy back and running in Portsmouth, and to where everyone can benefit from the fruits of our labors. So thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. Of course, I forgot to say that Tony Goodwin from the Parkview section of the city.
Thank you, sir. Good night, John.
And our final speaker, Mr. Mark Geduldig-Yatrofsky.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, honorable members of council, and fellow citizens. I don't often get an accompaniment when I speak, and absent a banjo player or a guitarist, I can do worse. There have been many eloquent speakers who preceded me, and some of you might consider what they had to say grandstanding, but I found that grandstanding is less than a precise term. It's like what Einstein said about time. It's relative. Because if somebody says something that you approve of, that's not grandstanding. Whereas if they say something that's not approving of you, you might consider it to be so. That's the way it is with human relationships. The main thing is that we do need to maintain decorum. We do need to maintain civility. We all have feelings. We all have families. We all have people who don't want to see us bashed. And we need to keep that in mind. No matter what you do to irritate us, we need to remember that if we cut you, you will bleed just as we will. But I'm going to hopefully shave your face without cutting your skin on this. I believe that the action you have taken is better representative of graduates of the Vladimir Putin School of Democratic Governance than it is elected officials in the United States of America. That's right. The dialogue should precede the action, not the other way around, especially as earlier speakers have said, because it is we the people who own the resources that you are controlling at our behest, in our stead. That's right. I would say to the four of you who were just recently elected or re-elected to those seats, that if you felt about this issue the way you expressed in the work session and to yourselves, you should have stated that on the campaign trail. That's right. So that the electorate could have judged the validity of those views and decided whether that qualified you more for the positions you're in than the statements you did make in public. You have not been forthcoming with us, and that bothers me. Transparency is essential, and those who do not trust in the people who elected them are not going to receive trust from those people. Trust is a two-way street. I hope that other people who have not voiced their concerns tonight will be present at Norcom in a week so that you can hear this message over and over again. And I want to tell my fellow citizens who have stood here while the city cameras, which is to say the cameras that your taxes support, were off, the cameras at PortsmouthCityWatch.org have been running. They're not as sophisticated as the city's cameras. And there will be some technical issues, I'm sure, when the contents of the memory cards get uploaded to YouTube. But there has been a record here tonight. In this day and age of technology that is available to the public, to the overwhelming public, it is really hard to silence the voice of dissent unequivocally. And Portsmouth City Watch, for which I am the publisher, will do its part to try to carry the message as far as possible. I thank you and good night.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Moody. Sorry, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Geduldig-Yatrofsky, probably few of you realize it, but back in the days when the public work sessions were dark, meaning that they weren't publicized on our access channel, he also filmed those sessions. So I just want to thank you for getting the old camera out and going back into action. In fact, the mayor thanked him at the last meeting for the same camera that was used to film the mayor up in Washington. So isn't it funny how events sometimes turn?
That's right.
On a serious note, Mark, thank you for still going to get the word out. I think that's important. I do think it's a mistake, but thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Simmons.
Thank you. I was just going to make two comments to the last speaker. Number one, in all the years I've been coming to council and watching council, and you, Mr. Geduldig-Yatrofsky, have come to council, for the record, you have never, ever been anything but polite, professional, and well-versed in your comments. You always do your homework, and even though I may disagree with you, you are never, ever disagreeable. Number two, I'm going to agree with you. One comment you made, I mentioned earlier tonight, that although I have my personal feelings about non-agenda speakers, I suggested in the work session that we listen to the citizens for a couple of meetings and then come back to this issue and decide what to do as a body in February. That was not what the majority decided, and so that's not what was decided. But I agree with what you suggested. That's just not what's going to happen. Majority rules won't be work. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, good night, we're adjourned.
What does she mean by what's